How's that for a mental image?
Yeah, thank you. 7:39. Mayor's Council of Guam President Mayor Jesse Alig in on this Tuesday because he was helping cause a big traffic jam yesterday at the ceremony over there at the. What was that, Mayor? What were you guys doing over there? Blocking the whole road on a Monday morning. The traffic a day. Good morning on you too.
Well, it was temporary for a long-term solution.
That's it.
That we've been doing.
It wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't his idea,
of
okay,
course.
guys.
What's that?
It wasn't. It wasn't your idea, right?
No, it wasn't my idea. Of course, timing is everything. And it's a good time for some people, and it's a horrible time for others.
That's
but
right.
Just the season. That's
Yeah.
all I have to say.
We did get a lot of complaints actually, real time yesterday, and then throughout the day, where people were just they were just complaining. Mayor. So when you were there, could you hear people honking angrily, or were you guys just oblivious? Were you in your
No,
zone?
I wasn't oblivious. The honking, but you couldn't tell whether. You've been through so many different campaigns, so you don't know what kind of honk is it a bad honk? Is it a good honk?
I think
Usually
that
a honk is a good thing, right? When you're out there, so
Right.
that's kind of what it seemed like.
I think that's what you guys maybe were telling yourselves. But the longer the honk, I think the angrier. So the campaign honk is always like, da, 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 I love you, get a vote for you, da, da, da. But then the
No. You get a strong supporter that wants to tell you, I am there. It's like,
Right, yeah. So maybe there were some of those and some of those like, I am here and I am mad.
We had that, I'm sure. But it was short. It was brief. The problem was, I think the bank was wrong.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't my decision.
Yeah.
I support the project for sure.
Of course.
I don't think that's the point. I understand that most people had a problem with timing.
Yeah.
And perhaps that could have been, but it is water under the bridge because it happened. Let's just hope that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure we're going to see more. We're going to see more. I mean, there's millions of dollars pouring in, right? So we all know that. And there'll definitely be more groundbreaking.
Yeah. Especially because it's election year, so they want to get a lot of good video of the groundbreaking. Did you wear your nice shirt?
I would. I'm sorry.
Did you wear your nice island shirt yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, day. Mayor, so we'll just keep on road repair because I know that you've been saying that that's a big part of what you guys want to do with this ARP funding that you have received already, or have you?
Yeah. So road repair, of course, the major road repair is being done by DPW.
Yeah.
And that's part of the plan with DPW. As far as minor stuff, the mayor's office can handle that. But lately we've been working with DPW to patch up the potholes and little road issues. So we do get the mixed or the milled material, the milled asphalt. So they're breaking Route 1 right now, and that all of that milled asphalt is shared with us. So it's good for some things, but to patch up small holes, it's not the ideal material. It's gonna run. It's not something that's going to last for a while. It's good for the longer repaving. I mean, not repaving, but resurfacing of roads. Yeah. So those roads that are the Cascal roads, the gravel roads, if it was to use that to kind of resurface that would work out better than to fill potholes.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're saying that you guys are going to have to go back and do it over again.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you're going to use the milled material, you're going to have to redo it. I mean, our weather is a factor. Our road, our vehicular traffic is an issue. So it needs a good paving for sure, and that's all done and coordinated through DPW. And we do know that there's money going to DPW for that purpose, for the roads.
A lot of money. Mayor, we had a lady call in yesterday. She's actually a regular caller here on the show, Chamorro Land Trust lessee. And she was talking about the difficulty she had in going to Adelup to get an audience with the governor and lieutenant governor. And what she wanted to talk about was living on Chamorro Land Trust property. Todd's at Honham, no water out there. And this is a big deal because, our messaging for the last few years has been the 3 W's. And, one of the W's is wash your hands. And she brings up the point that, hey, how can we do that when, the government hasn't committed to bringing infrastructure into our areas? So she's been trying to get like a water buffalo, the tanker or whatever for the area. But Adeloup's saying, oh, call your mayor. And she had brought up the point, why do they put everything on the mayors when you guys have the smallest amount of money and they basically are giving you the ARP like 50 cents at a time. So this lady really knew what she was talking about. But I just wanted to take it to you because they passed the buck. Adeloup passed the buck to the mayors, which I'm sure you're used to by now. But what is the actual process for, Mayor Savara is up in Dedido or any of these villages that have like these kind of big tracts of Chamorro Land Trust properties without like water? Who does that?
That's been a problem for decades. I mean, even in the Calvo administration, that was a big issue. I think the Calvo administration came in and we were dealing with many leases that just absolutely had no water or power infrastructure. And I think one of the issues during that administration, or one of the rules, was not to issue any more property that did not have any infrastructure. And you can surmise why there are so many leases given out without any infrastructure. And come on, so we live on Guam every 4 years. There's a campaign. We know what that's like. We always have to deal at the end with those ramifications. And honestly, it is the government's responsibility, but it's probably not the government's priority. And that's that's the hard part, is how then do we help these people that have leased property from CLTC to live there or to farm there? That's an ongoing issue, and it really would be the priority of the administration whether or not they're going to fund that. I do remember hearing though that during this administration that they are working towards that. So I don't know how far along they are. I do know that I want to have a conversation with Speaker Terlahi regarding CLTC. So that could certainly be, and she's the oversight, and I believe that the speaker is the good person to have to be the oversight of land. And so I'm hoping that my conversation, I have not yet requested for it, but I will, to have a conversation with her about CLTC because of our own issues with CLTC and what we can actually do. And I certainly can talk to her about that. I don't know what the actual plans are for those people. When it comes to the mayors, we obviously don't have the funding to give them that infrastructure, the water or the power. I mean, it costs like 30-some thousand, I think, right? Depending on what you need, right? And depending how far the property is. So there are many issues as to how that's going to be handled.
Yeah. But and I know, Mayor, the senators had submitted a ARP spending plan to the governor going way back to last spring, actually. They submitted a plan to the governor. The governor was like, oh, let's go have a meeting. And then I don't know if the governor copied their homework or what, but there was a thing in there where they were trying to get $25 million over to the Chamorro Land Trust for exactly what we're talking about. But the governor,
that's what it was. Maybe that's what I was reading.
But then we never really heard anything. And their plan that they came out with, I'm not sure if I saw anything for that in their plan. So what issues did you have that you wanted to bring up with the speaker about Chamorro Land Trust?
Our issue with, and the thing is actually, I think and I don't typically like to talk about it without having discussed it with the agency or the senator first. But everybody knows the issue on CLTC property with abandoned vehicles or the dump vehicles. CLTC property is not a trash, it's not a landfill. And a lot of our issues with the northern properties, with properties in Hoggett, is that the COTC properties are just strewn with abandoned and junk vehicles. And like Mayor Savars always says, they just grow. And we don't have cameras out there to monitor them. And so we feel that there needs to be better enforcement with COTC regulations. And we're not sure how that's going to happen, and we're not sure how COTC is if the COTC is equipped to do that. But the end result is that it again falls on the mayor, because they expect the mayor to remove the abandoned vehicles or the junk vehicles on COTC property, and and a lot of times it wasn't even the lessee's vehicle. Sometimes most times they don't occupy the property until years later, and they get there and they find that all this trash is there. I know that the mayors in the north and in Hoggett, they do help the residents clear out as much as they can. But when you think about it, it's still kind of it's private trash, and to use government funds to remove that is, it's not fair, and it's not equitable, because we can't do that for everybody. So the trash issue is a big problem, and again, I have not yet spoken to the speaker about it or COTC, but I do plan to have that conversation, because it's a huge problem, and it takes up a lot of our money from the recycling revolving fund, and you'll hear the northern mayors screaming about it, because they don't have enough money in their PO, because they've had to constantly remove vehicles that grow every other day. And thankfully this fiscal year, the purchase orders were increased, the cap from 25,000 to 50,000. But even at 50,000, Dededo, Tumbuling Dededo, Zigu, Manila, Barigad, and Hoggett still stand to exceed that $50,000. Wow. So again, it becomes a big issue, and that's because of the COTC. Well, part of it is because of the COTC issue.
I did a story on what's that area? Did you pass Retidian and the golf course? Anyway, there's this big land trust area in there, headed towards Anderson from like Retidian side, and it's exactly what you're talking about. Is these bunch of different people are leasing properties. There's a Cascal road that goes through, and people just come and they park cars there and they leave them. And I'm talking like 20, 30 cars just, and the people living there are saying, oh, I don't know, they just pop up out of nowhere, one after the other. Right. And then I remember back when we were doing the dengue before the COVID, Mayor Savars was out there in I said Swamp Road, doing a massive cleanup, and I went out to cover it for the news team, and I freaked out like, holy God, and I kept thinking, man, because I worked when they opened the Chamorro Land Trust up. I was working way back in the 90s, so I couldn't take off work, so I didn't get to go apply, and over the years, as I got into media, I just think, oh, it's probably not a good idea for me to apply, but I remember thinking, man, if I had land, definitely would not be. It was crazy seeing abandoned vehicles, all kinds of junk, household garbage, craziness. So that is a big issue, right?
It's big, and then it's uncontrollable. I think that's the issue, is that it's uncontrollable on the mayor's side, and that's where we're wanting to get some help from the and perhaps the onus is on COTC, right? Because that's the property that they lease. So.
But I don't think the argument should be, oh, you guys don't know how to take care of the property and you just dump whatever on your land, so we're not going to get you running water or power.
Well, like I said, some of the property, the lessees there, they haven't been to their properties since they were given the lease, and when they actually get there, that they find that the property is a landfill, and that's so that's part of the issue. And of course, we're going to run into residents that, perhaps are not as careful as others, but they are, and I believe the mayors that complain about those property owners or those lessees that get into their, finally move into their property and they find this whole crash
Right.
ordeal there. So yeah.
So where are the worst areas, Mayor?
Obviously Dedido, the Dedido Jigo area. That's our bigger issue. And of course, like I said, the Haget and Manila mentioned that they also have issues. So and really when you think about Manila, you don't equate it to Dedido or Jigo, but I tell you, the way they spend their money based on recycling revolving funds, I mean, it's there's so much trash up there that it's, we treat Manila similarly to the larger, Dedido and Jigo, and that's just because I think there's more people. Manila is very transient, right? There's a lot of and so they leave their trash or for whatever it is. There's just a lot of activity through Manila. So yeah, that's a big issue there too.
I mean, plus you got the whole back road. That's all Manila, right? And there's a lot of lots in there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
What else is going on, Mayor?
I'm stuck in PD right now, but I'm gonna. I'm stuck in PD mode. But let me look. Gosh. Well, you know what? We do have a public. It's a roundtable, I believe it is, on Thursday at 2 p.m. with Senator Pido, our oversight, and that was called by Mayor Ernest Chargloff because he's not content with the way the budget was done in fiscal 22. Is that water under the bridge?
No. I mean, it is done. You're right. Correct. Yeah. So is this just basically a gripe session with Uncle Ernest?
If you want to call it that, I don't know. I mean, we're already we're rolling into the new budget hearings, and this is the time to have that conversation. This is the time to have the discussions with the rest of our colleagues and how our budgets are going to be best distributed. And I have to say that I think we've done our best to communicate with our colleagues and to communicate with the senators. Senator San Agustin remains the appropriations chair, so we'll continue to work with him on our fiscal 23 budget. I know that's it's going to be challenging. I'm hopeful though that they'll take a look at what the money that we're receiving from ARP and consider our budget. We have new mayors, so there's definitely new ideas as to how we're distributed, how our money is distributed. There's definitely new ideas as to how we pay certain issues, certain things.
Yeah.
And we'll see. It'll be very interesting to see how this new budget cycle or this new the fiscal 23 budget cycle is going to be like. Of course, the one issue that's on our plate that haven't resolved is the liberation. But I think
can we talk about liberation, Mayor? What's going on for this year, liberation? Because it's coming up in July.
Yeah, it's coming up, and I think there's so much to. I mean, we have to talk about it. It's something we have to plan. That's the my issue is the planning, right? Because if we just walk into it blindsided, I mean that's our fault. So. I did bring it up at the last meeting, and there didn't seem to be too much conversation about it.
Oh.
But offline, there's a lot of conversation about what our options can be.
Yeah. I mean, come on, Mayor. We're having fundraisers. They're having election fundraisers. We're doing ceremonies out on the side of the road, backing up traffic for hours. I think that we can have a Liberation Day parade. Plus, it's an election year, and they need the video. Can you imagine?
Okay, so we're thinking about a parade, but in a different way. We should get you involved. You might like it.
What is it? Wait a second. What is it?
No. I mean, well, of course, I prefer to speak to the council before I say anything else.
Okay.
Because we have discussed it, and we've discussed options, and our options are, of course, to continue the memorials. That's actually that's not an option. That's certain. The Queen's contest is something. Of course, the option is to either have it, the same style or to sell raffle tickets. Not too many people like that. I don't like that, quite honestly. Um, the other option is to focus on some type of advocacy. Um,
Which
look
you
for
guys are kind of doing that with the foster families, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and then of course the third option is the status quo and nothing at all because we haven't done it for the last 2 years. So, but I'm hopeful that we'll do something. We can tie in the Queen's contest with a proposal for the celebration in the villages. So we're really looking at promoting the villages more and having the 19 villages participate in some type of liberation activity. Of course, that's where I think this parade concept will come into play. But again, it's still something that needs to be discussed with the council. Vice Mayor Kevin Delgado and I had a conversation yesterday about it, and I think our colleagues will like this proposal. So we'll see what they say, and then we'll certainly share it with you.
Yeah. So as of now, you cannot say definitively if we are having a Liberation Day parade or not. What would you say to the audience?
I have to say, hold on to your forks. The best is yet to come.
Oh, cryptic. Mayor, I mentioned the foster families. What's the update with that?
Oh, did I tell you we have 19? Oh, I think we put out a media release on it. So we do. We made 19. We had 19. Thank you. It's great. I think it was 2 weeks ago that we recruited 19. Well, we don't know indirectly or directly from the mayor's offices, but through our campaign or during our campaign, Public Health was able to secure 19 applications, and so we're very happy about that. But we're not going to stop. We're going to continue through May. We'll continue the campaign through May because, again, we still have over 400 children that need foster care, and we still have less than 50 families, even with 19. What you're going to see next, I think it's next week, this coming weekend, on the Catholic parishes, is that we're requesting the Catholic churches to make some kind of mention of the foster care or foster families and foster children, and to pray for them. And that we just wanted to bring it out onto the Catholic side. And we did that because we've been working with Harvest House, and they have a good communication or good organization with the other Protestant faiths. So we just wanted to reach out to the Archdiocese because there is the Chancery does have a group that focuses on foster care as well. But from the mayor's side, we just wanted to encourage the parishes to pray for foster care and for foster children.
Awesome.
So that's going to be done, should be done this week. Of course, it just depends on the pastor and whether or not the pastor agrees to do it. And then we'll have more through. We'll plan something through the coming months up to May.
Got it, Mayor. What about Easter? You guys gonna have an Easter egg hunt this year?
I don't know about the other villages. We haven't talked about that. Possible. It's possible. It really is possible. When you take a look at, I don't know. Look at the trip report last night. It might be promising.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they're only testing people who are bleeding out of their eyeballs, you're not going to really see a lot of positive cases, as many as we've had, I think. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Okay, got it. Anything else in closing? You're good?
I'm good. I'm sorry I'm not thinking too much more about it, but if you have any questions, give me a call.
Right on. Well, we're just wondering about liberation, and that's in the works, you say?
Yeah, it is.
Got it. And then Chamorro Land Trust dump trouble spots include, of course, Dedido, Mangilao as well?
Mangilao, Jigo,
of course. Okay, got it. Thank you for that, Mayor.
Sure, you're welcome. Thank you, too.
Have
a good day.
You too. Mayor Jesse Alig, he's the Mayor's Council of Guam president here at 8:03. We're going to take a quick break, and we're coming back with your 8 o'clock newscast. And Tomas Maglotnia with a regional update right here on the link. Good morning.
Beginning February 7th, the link will be broadcast exclusively on Breeze 93.9 FM and live streamed on our Facebook and YouTube channels from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. weekday mornings. We're making way for some exciting changes to our KUAM news lineup, so stay tuned.
The KUAM Podcast Network is back and on demand, featuring a great variety of podcasts from our island and region, including culture, lifestyle, awareness, crime, politics, commentary, comedy, and entertainment. Available on most streaming platforms. The KUAM Podcast